All right, let me tell you something that's not on my website bio, not in my About section, nothing polished, just the actual story of how I ended up sitting here talking to you about hormones and root causes instead of just cracking backs for a living. 10 years into my practice as a chiropractor, I hit a wall I couldn't get around, and I mean that literally. The same wall over and over. A patient would sit across from me right in that chair, and I know exactly what was going on and exactly what they needed. And I couldn't be the one to give it to them. So, somewhere in my 30s, when most people are settling into their career, I went back to school. I got a completely different license and became a family nurse practitioner on top of everything else. Let me back up and tell you how I actually got here in the first place, because it's a weirder story than you'd think. It starts with me being a stressed out college freshman. I went from a graduating class of about 150 people to a campus of 30,000, and my body just didn't know what to do with that. Anxiety out of nowhere, sweating constantly, my skin breaking out like I was 14 again. Not a fun year. My parents, understandably worried, sent me to a doctor. And this guy, I still remember it, looking at my chart, he looked at me and basically said, "I can't help you with this." He wasn't being dismissive, he was just being honest. He told me, go to the library, this was back in the 90s, and look up holistic medicine myself. So a medical doctor sent me to go do my own research before the internet was even there. That still cracks me up thinking about it. If you appreciate this kind of behind the scenes honesty, just go ahead and hit that like button for me. So I did what he said. I found a chiropractor in my hometown. I sat down in his office, and within one visit, something shifted. I felt different, and I don't just mean physically. I remember thinking, this is it. This is what I want to do with my life. And look, 25-year-old me had no idea what this would eventually turn into. What followed wasn't one dramatic leap into a new career. It was 25 years of just going deeper, chiropractic school first. Then I got into applied kinesiology, which honestly still blows my mind. Being able to muscle test the body and figure out what's actually going on underneath the surface. Then homeopathy, then acupuncture. More postgraduate training than I probably need to admit to you right now. I wasn't just collecting letters after my name for fun. Every single one of those was because something helped an actual person sitting in that chair. And I wanted more tools in the toolbox. But here's the part of the story that actually explains why you're watching a channel about hormones and root causes instead of just spinal adjustments. A patient would come in, and it would become obvious pretty quickly they needed lab work. I'd have to send them somewhere else for that. They'd need imaging, another referral, another door I couldn't open for myself. They'd need something prescribed, same story. It happened once, twice, a dozen times, and eventually I just couldn't keep pretending it wasn't bothering me. So I could see exactly what someone needed sitting right there in front of me, and I wasn't allowed to be the one to actually give it to them. I'll be straight with you. Going back to school in my 30s wasn't some triumphant, inspiring decision. It was frustrating. It meant years of additional training after I'd already built an entire career and a life around being a chiropractor. There were plenty of moments where I genuinely questioned whether restarting inside a system I'd spent a decade practicing outside of was even worth it. Nobody claps for the guy who goes back to school at 35. But here's what I got on the other side of all that frustration. I stopped having to choose between holistic and conventional medicine. I get to be both now. I can pull your labs, I can read them the way any nurse practitioner would, and in the same conversation, I can tell you what's actually happening from a root cause, whole body perspective. The stuff most 10-minute appointments never had time to even get into. I stopped having to hand people off at the exact moment I finally understood what they needed. That was the whole point. And that's really the entire reason this channel exists. I help adults with unresolved health issues understand the root causes of their symptoms through simple, practical health education because I spent 25 years deliberately learning to speak both languages, holistic and medical, so that you don't have to pick a side either. If any part of my story resonates with you, or if you've ever felt like you were bounced between providers without actually connecting the dots, subscribe. I'll keep breaking down the health stuff nobody has time to fully explain in a rushed appointment. Thanks for sticking with me through all that. I'll see you on the next one.